We've all been there. You swear off the late-night scrolling, but by 11 p.m., the phone is back in your hand. We blame a lack of willpower when this happens, but relying on mental toughness is a losing strategy. Bad habits don't survive because you're weak. They survive because they are convenient. This is the fog behavior model, your physical ability to do the task. When trying to break a habit, most people focus right here, on the vertical motivation axis. They use strict rules, guilt, or shame to force themselves to stop. But motivation fluctuates wildly, and worse, applying guilt creates stress. Since many bad habits are just coping mechanisms for stress, trying to willpower your way out of a habit often triggers the exact behavior you want to avoid. The reliable way to kill a habit is to shift your focus to the horizontal axis, ability. You need to engineer friction into your environment. By pushing a behavior far to the left into the hard-to-do category, you make it practically impossible to execute on autopilot. Eliminating a destructive behavior is a mechanical challenge of environmental design. If you want to stop doing something, you have to make it exhausting to start. To push a habit into that hard-to-do zone, we need to break what behavioral scientists call the ability chain. The first step is looking at the physical spaces you live and work in. Look at the physical effort required to perform the action. If you force your body to work harder to initiate a bad habit, you introduce a mechanical gap. That physical delay gives your brain a moment to pause and reconsider the action. Let's say you want to stop watching television immediately after work. Don't rely on good intentions. Unplug the TV. Wrap the cord and put it in a drawer. Put the remote in a completely different room. Now, watching a show requires an exhausting, multi-step physical process. Physical barriers are effective, but so is the second lever, mental effort. Cognitive frustration can derail a habit loop just as efficiently as a locked door. If your phone is the problem, bury your distracting apps. Move them off the home screen and hide them inside multiple layers of unnamed folders. When finding the app requires active, annoying mental navigation instead of a mindless tap, your brain will often abandon the attempt altogether. Think about the one daily habit you struggle with most. What is one specific physical barrier you could place between yourself and that behavior right now? Redesigning your space ensures that a bad habit is physically exhausting and mentally frustrating to start. You kill the automatic loop before it even begins. Sometimes physical blocking isn't entirely possible, but habits thrive on speed and cheap rewards. If we can't build a physical wall, we can attack their efficiency. We can do this by leveraging the cost of time. By artificially forcing the action to take too long, the reward loses its appeal. If you keep a pint of ice cream in the freezer, the time cost is zero. If you ban it from the house, satisfying that craving suddenly requires a 20-minute round trip to the grocery store. Next, look at the financial cost. Governments have used this lever for decades. By imposing steep taxes on cigarettes and soda, they directly decrease a person's financial ability to consume those products. Make the habit expensive, and consumption drops. You can apply this same tax to yourself. Engineer steep financial penalties to drain a bad habit's appeal. Establish a rule where engaging in the negative behavior means you immediately transfer $50 to a savings account you can't touch. When you artificially inflate the time and money required, your brain runs a quick calculation and categorizes the action as simply not worth the effort. All of these strategies require you to set them up when your motivation is high. That brings us to the ultimate friction tool, the commitment device. A commitment device is a one-time choice made in the present that builds an inescapable wall for your future self. It locks in good behavior before temptation arrives. For example, a 5-minute call to permanently cancel your cable guarantees you cannot mindlessly channel surf tomorrow or next month. It can also be automated. Installing a website blocker that shuts down social media after 30 minutes, or putting your video game controllers in a timed lockbox entirely removes the need to exercise self-control in the moment of weakness. Commitment devices automate your friction. They ensure your past motivated self has successfully protected your future exhausted self from failure. We can break bad habits by understanding the logic of friction, increasing physical and mental space resistance, inflating the cost of time and money, and locking it all in with commitment devices. Stop trying to summon more willpower. You don't need a stronger mind. You just need to build an environment where failing is simply too difficult to achieve. Thanks for watching KR Simplified. We'll see you in the next one.